Hello, and welcome to Discussion Board 18. Guys, this is some interesting stuff. I love talking about the Civil War, okay? That sounds weird, but I really do. It's such an interesting and fascinating war, I think, and from the very beginning to the very end. I love what goes along with the Civil War. And there's so many amazing stories that happen. So, I want to take you on some photographs of the war right here, okay? So it says the Civil War was the first American war to be extensively photographed. The development of a new photographic technique called the collodion process, or wet plate photography, allowed photographers to capture vivid images of battlefield soldiers and military hardware that would have been impossible just 2 decades earlier. And you read the thing about Civil War technology. There's a lot of technology that happened in the Civil War that really made it last a lot longer than it did. Anyway, so I'll let you read the rest of this because it's super interesting to find out about photography during the Civil War. And there's also a collection of photographs called the Lillenquist Collection that is on display is somewhere in the Library of Congress. That I was actually able to be at the Library of Congress for the unveiling of the Lillenquist Collection, and it's a fabulous collection too. And I could seriously like teach an entire class about the Civil War because it's interesting stuff. Anyway, so these pictures were taken by Alexander Gardner, and he was one of Matthew Brady, who is kind of he's known as the photographer of the Civil War. He's one of his little employees, okay? So, Alexander Gardner took some interesting pictures of the Battle of Antietam, all right? So here are some bodies of Confederate artillerymen near the church right here, and you can see that the church has also been isn't in the best of shape, right? And then here are the wounded right here, by where the battle took place. Here are another photograph of the Confederate soldiers after the battle. In 2016, Time Magazine named this as one of the 100 most influential photographs of all time, and you can see it's quite amazing right there, and obviously this time they weren't able to do live photography, and but still photography they could do, okay. All right. So Alexander Gardner says that this photograph was during a battle, and there's a historian who says it was probably the day after the battle, and this probably wasn't just smoke from gunshots or whatever. It was probably just smoke from campfires. But, sometimes if something's a really good story, you just tell the story, right? Because why not, right? And then this is soldiers in a ditch that had been dug to provide cover for them as they fired rifles at Union forces right here. So, anyway, interesting photographs right here. In 1863, Gardner quit working for Brady and started his own studio in Washington, D.C. In July of 1863, he photographed after the Battle of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania, and he displayed these photographs in his new gallery. So here are some photographs that he took at Gettysburg. This one is called a sharpshooter's last sleep in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And then here's this one called the home of the rebel sharpshooter. in also Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Amazing. And the same historian, who studied his photographs extensively, claimed that although the scenes depicted were over 40 yards apart, the soldier is the same in both photographs. And he was a Confederate sharpshooter, but the rifle in the photograph was not a sharpshooter's rifle, and this rifle also appeared in many of Gardner's photographs as well. Okay, so I've heard many times that the photographers weren't above moving things to get the right photograph. Okay, so how does each of the photographs, A through D, tell us about the battle? What does each photograph tell us about the Battle of Antietam? Historians consider various questions, including when and where was the photograph taken, who took the photograph, what was their perspective, and how might that have influenced what they chose to shoot, why was the photograph taken, might the photographer wanted to portray the scene in a particular way, under what circumstances, how might these circumstances have enabled the photographer to do whatever, what technology did the photographer use, and how might that have influenced the image created. So, considering all of these, why might Gardner's photographs be useful evidence about the Battle of Antietam? What about Gardner's photographs might consider whether they are useful evidence about the Battle of Antietam? Looking at the last photograph, the ones of Gettysburg, what do they suggest about his photographs? And if the claims are true, does that affect the reliability of Gardner's photographs of Antietam? Okay, so just kind of interesting evidence, and interesting to go into all of these photographs and to go into Antietam and Gettysburg and all of the battles that were photographed, and see what was done in them, because a lot of them you can actually see the marks of people that were moved for the photograph or whatever. So anyway, interesting stuff. Tell me what you think, and I'll be interested to hear. So anyway, talk to you later.